Governor Haslam gives his State of the State address here in the House chamber in the state's capital. Residents remain divided on Governor Haslam's proposal to increase the price you pay at the pump. Bee pollination services have an economic value of $3 billion a year. Chalk Walk is the kickoff event for the Dogwood Arts Festival here in Knoxville. Tennesseans await Governor Haslam's annual State of the State address in Nashville. University of Tennessee students lobby to state legislators on behalf of the Knoxville campus. Student Government Association members Jasmine Blue and Alex Crockett voiced campus concerns to state legislators. Jasmine explains the student stance on Governor Haslam's outsourcing plan.
We want to keep our current facilities workers. We do not want to privatize that industry just because we know those workers and we know the quality they bring to our campus.
Alex Crockett says legislators want to work with the university.
I think legislators are very open to working with the student body and just the University of Tennessee in general. And so I think there is a very big opportunity here for us to make some very important change on campus.
Governor Haslam gives his State of the State address here in the House chamber in the state's capital. The address looks at what Governor Haslam plans to achieve for Tennessee in the upcoming year.
On education, there is no state in the U.S. that is commanding the spotlight like Tennessee.
Governor Haslam's Tennessee Reconnect initiative provides tuition-free community college education to post-high school graduates. University of Tennessee Systems President Joe DiPietro says Governor Haslam's address supports a brighter future for higher education.
We heard lots of positive things. In 7 State of the State addresses while I've had this job, this is the strongest State of the State address for higher ed. We've not had a budget like this. We have to get in the details and see it. But by what he described, I think we're in a very, very good position.
State legislators and University of Tennessee stakeholders hope to build a stronger relationship.
It's super important to talk to legislators because, as you guys know, the University of Tennessee is a state institution. It's a flagship. And so we get public funding, and what they decide here in Nashville directly affects us as a higher institution that is a public entity.
Governor Haslam outlines a $655 million budget for higher education and government construction projects. State legislators must approve this budget in the upcoming months. For UT Today, this is Beverly Banks reporting. Governor Haslam's Improve Act raises fuel taxes to pay for Tennessee roads. University of Tennessee student Jared Nelson says a tax increase may benefit college students.
We don't tend to commute too far. We tend to live pretty close to campus, so it might end up actually being kind of a fiscal positive for us.
West Tennessee student Cody Sane says the tax may help repair the roads.
So in the long run, I feel like wearing my vehicle out faster is going to have a larger economic impact on me than raising the gas tax slightly.
Economics professor Matthew Murray says students and faculty share a lesser burden than rural community members.
The burden would come for low-income households, and in particular low-income households that reside in rural parts of the state, where driving large numbers of miles is just something that those people have to do.
Murray says Tennessee surplus funds are not a long-term solution to pay for better roads.
The reality is, while there is a surplus, the state also needs to pile money into the rainy day fund. There are other uses for those funds, and it is not a long-term source of revenue to fund the roads.
Tennessee drivers pay 21.4 cents in taxes per gallon of fuel. Residents remain divided on Governor Haslam's proposal to increase the price you pay at the pump. Student Greg Butcher speaks to Tennessee residents about the negative impacts of a gas tax.
Our state has a budget surplus, and a pretty substantial budget surplus, a lot of it recurring, a part of it's one-time money, but I think most voters and most Tennesseans would agree that if we have a budget surplus, if you're taking too much of my taxes, there is absolutely no reason to justify raising taxes.
Out-of-state student Maya McCullough says the gas tax may alter her travel home.
It does make, it's kind of like a burden that, I normally can fill up my tank, maybe $25, $30 max with premium gas. So having that gas tax, I wouldn't say it would inhibit me from going home, but it does, kind of like set me back just a little bit.
The Improve Act collects funds for 962 future road and infrastructure projects in all 95 counties. Bees pollinate the food we eat each day. but the recent disappearance of bees threatens the growth of vital crops. Knoxville beekeeper Andy Brassfield says his honeybees vanished last summer.
The 2 hives that I had in operation at the time, both of those hives were gone when I got home.
Beardsley Community Farm staff member Jenna Bailey says the decline of bee populations affects the growth of produce.
We can't grow produce if the produce isn't going to be pollinated. And so that's where our pollinator animals such as honeybees really play a big role in the ability to grow food for people who are hungry in Knoxville.
The Endangered Species Act protects over 7 species of bees. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service estimates that bee pollination services have an economic value of $3 billion a year. University of Tennessee entomology professor Scott Stewart says there are many factors that cause the disappearance of bees.
Bee health is very complicated. I mean, there's a lot of interacting factors, varroa mites, weather, forage availability, and pesticides.
Brassfield says the uncertain future of bees have a negative impact on the consumer.
So they were charging like $50-something per hive. Now they charge $150 per hive to come out and pollinate. Obviously, that cost ends up hitting the consumer at the grocery store.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations states that bees affect 35% of world crop production. Welcome, Chancellor Davenport. Thank you so much for being here today.
Welcome, and thank you for watching UT Today. I'm Justin Crawford.
And I'm Beverly Banks. Coming up, reporter Rachel Underwood tells us how one UT student is giving back.
So excited to see the circle drill again. It's always fun to see the band out there at every game.